Saturday Morning 101, where we talk about the essentials of Saturday morning. In my opinion, the cartoons and the shows that are key to understanding the Saturday experience of our youth, or at least my youth. And I wasn't, I didn't originally have this on the list, but with what happened last week on HBO Max, we'll talk about that in a minute. Little teaser. What happened on HBO Max, Johnny? I'm glad you asked. You'll find out in a minute. Um, I thought this was the perfect time to talk about the 1974 live action cartoon Shazam,
Shazam.
starring Michael Gray as Billy Batson and Jackson Bostwick as Shazam. And oh, Willow, I don't have it in front of me. Look up the mentors, the actor who played the mentor, real quick. I can't remember his name, but this show followed Billy Batson and the mentor as they traveled around the country in an RV. And in the very opening of the show, you are introduced to the concept of Shazam, Captain Marvel, who, when he utters the name Shazam, which is the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the endurance of Atlas, the power of Zeus, the strength or the immortality of Achilles, and the strength and speed of Mercury. Those seven characters spell out Shazam. And when he speaks the name Shazam, he becomes the world's mightiest mortal.
I didn't know that. That's so cool.
You didn't know what?
That the characters spelled out Shazam.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
See what you learn.
I love
hosting
things like
this
that.
show.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I love it too. And in the comic books, Shazam was also the name of the wizard that gave him his powers. But it also spells out the powers from the Greek gods that kind of were combined to turn him into Captain Marvel. And Jackson Bostwick played Captain Marvel Shazam for the first two seasons. And by the way, Jackson Bostwick lives here in Nashville. And I have met him. I know him. We've interviewed him for a previous show that we did. And he said, no, I'm not getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday.
Good for him.
But in season 3 of Shazam, Jackson Bostwick was replaced by John Davey, who became the new Captain Marvel and was a little bit bulkier, had a little bit more of a square jaw. And it was all over pay dispute. It was all over money and creative differences. And so, Willow, did you find the mentor's name?
There was no name for the mentor, but he was played by Les Tremaine.
Les Tremaine. Okay. Yeah, he played the mentor. And basically, he was just like Billy's grandpa that drove him around in the RV and gave him advice. Now, in the third or fourth season, they did a crossover with ISIS and Shazam, with John Davey as Captain Marvel and Joanna Coleman, one of the most beautiful women to ever walk the planet, as Isis. And Dee, do you remember us reviewing ISIS about a year and a half ago?
No.
I remember mocking the wonderful acting that is in that show.
She kind of looks like Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah, she really does. If Catherine Zeta-Jones had redone this character in her 20s, or even today, it would be epic. Now, here's what's really interesting, and we'll get to some trivia on this in a minute. Even as a kid, I didn't really. I like Jackson Bostwick as a person, and as an actor, I never bought him as Shazam. And here's why. This is what Shazam looks like in the comics.
It was like Superman.
Well, he preceded Superman. Superman was created to compete with Shazam, Captain Marvel. But
You know what?
yeah.
So what is it? The movie with The Rock where he's
Black Adam.
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So they mentioned that. I was really confused about that. I'm really confused.
That was a lost opportunity, and we're going to get back to that in just a minute.
Okay, because I need some explaining for that, because like his powers, and he has to say Shazam, and then only one person can compete with him, and that was Superman, and like I'm just confused.
Well, you're not the only one.
Okay,
all of fandom is confused.
Okay, cool.
The Shazam TV show ran from 1974 to 1977. And then in 1981, Filmation, who produced the Shazam live action show, also produced a Saturday morning cartoon. And all of these ran on Saturday morning. And this was the Shazam, Shazam cartoon, which had Billy Batson, Captain Marvel, Mary Marvel, and Captain Marvel Jr. Now, and here's another shot of Shazam, Captain Marvel from the Justice League Action Hour.
Superman Shazam.
Well, and then, of course, we got the movies Shazam, along with the sequel Shazam, Fury of the Gods, which really focused in on those 7 gods that I mentioned and their powers. And Dee, have you seen the Shazam movies?
No.
You saw Black Adam.
Yeah.
But you've not seen the Shazam movies. Now, Willow, you went and saw Fury of the Gods, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
Had you seen the previous one?
Yes.
The first one?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the first one was a little bit better than the second one, but...
Really? I haven't heard good things. I
What-
have not seen it because I have not heard good things. And I'm like, okay.
Well, no, everybody liked it. Everybody who saw it liked it.
It was good, but, I'm going to be honest and say that the Mario Brothers movie is actually a little bit more entertaining. But
Well, apples to oranges, right?
Yeah.
But, the critics did ravage Fury of the Gods. And it failed miserably in the box office.
The problem with critics is a lot of them aren't comic book fans.
No. And look, I never look at a critical score like on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't care what the critics think about it. I don't care what user score is. I'm going to go see something that I want to see because it looks fun and exciting to me.
So is it the second one's in theaters right now?
No.
Yeah.
So
it should still be in theaters.
No. It left theaters 2 weeks ago, and on April 7th, it went to streaming on HBO Max.
Oh.
And that's part of the reason why it failed so miserably, is because fans knew that the pattern has been established that Warner Brothers movies go to live streaming within 30 days after release. Their actual policy is 45 days, but in the case of Fury of the Gods, it tanked so hard in the box office, it lost over $200 million. It failed.
Okay, so
hard.
there definitely needs to be new something when it comes to streaming. How many people tune into to each stream or log into their stream to watch that particular movie, so that they can judge
They measure that now.
often. Yeah.
They measure that. Absolutely, they do. Now, they've not published the metric yet for Fury of the Gods, but one of the things that fans have been trained to expect the movie 45 days after release on live streaming. So why go pay $15 a ticket, when you can wait 45 more days, you've already waited a year or 2 years for this movie to come out. What's another 45 days to watch it ostensibly for free on HBO Max? Yes, you're paying your monthly subscription, but it's included with the subscription and you've got infinitely more content, right? So the concept is I can watch it for free at home.
I can really watch it for free because I have AT&T and HBO comes free with AT&T. So literally, like, that is my philosophy, especially because I have children and you have to get a babysitter and all that mess. So I get
right, but they've trained Disney, Warner Brothers, Lucasfilm, Pixar. They have trained audiences to expect it immediately on streaming, and that's a big problem for them. And Bob Iger at Disney has said, the money is in the box office. We've got to get the box office numbers back. And so they're going to, in the next couple of months, you're going to see all of these studios take a cue from Top Gun Maverick or Maverick Top Gun, whatever the sequel was called. And you notice that that's not on streaming yet, I don't think, is it? It just came out on video.
I think so. I think it is now.
But it was almost a year after its theatrical release before it was available on video.
That's because that's part of Tom Cruise's contract.
Yeah, well, and guess what the number one highest grossing movie of 2022 was? Maverick, Top Gun. It was the number one movie worldwide because Tom Cruise insisted that it had to stay in theaters, and it stayed in theaters for 6 months. And they just let it percolate and percolate. And you know, a movie doesn't need to stay in the theaters for 6 months, but at least 6 weeks, 8 weeks to get, you know, to get traction and to get people interested, because everyone who saw Fury of the Gods loved it.
It was really good. Yeah.
I've not talked to a single person that didn't think it was a solid Saturday afternoon popcorn comic book movie. But, you know, anyway, we're here to talk about the Saturday morning show, Shazam. And Dee and Willow, I sent you 9 things you never knew about the 70s TV series. I said that in 1974, you know, CBS continued the string of superhero by making Shazam. And we already talked that it's focused on Billy Batson and Captain Marvel. And by the way, a lot of people are going, John, why are you calling Shazam Captain Marvel? Because that was the character's original name. He spoke the word Shazam to activate his powers, but his character name was Captain Marvel. Well, in the 70s, as a result of this TV show, Marvel Comics sued DC Comics, and they gained the right to exclusively use the name Captain Marvel. That's why in the Shazam movies, he never speaks the word Captain Marvel, the name Captain Marvel. And at the end of Fury of the Gods, did anyone catch? He took the official name.
Someone did actually call him Captain Marvel in the movie.
Yeah, but he's not allowed to call himself that. And at the end of Shazam! Fury of the Gods, the wizard actually gave him the official name Shazam. So it will be Shazam forevermore. But the mentor in Shazam, the mentor Shazam, is gone. So the wizard Shazam is gone and replaced by the elders in the TV show. So that's the 7 elders, the 7 gods whose powers combine. You know, you've got Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Apollo, and
there's
Mercury.
so much of this in Black Adam. I don't understand.
So, okay, here's what you need to know about Black Adam. Black Adam, in the comic book lore, Black Adam was the first champion of Shazam. He became the champion first. He was the first one to wield the power, but he let the power corrupt him, and he became a villain. And so the wizard Shazam had to choose a new champion, and there had been several champions throughout the years. Black Adam killed them all. And Billy Batson, the young child, became the latest champion. And I always love this because, he's a little kid that when he speaks the magic word becomes the mightiest mortal on earth. He becomes an adult. And in the comics and in the cartoon series growing up, he was always a completely separate persona. That's not the case in the Shazam movies. In the Shazam movies, he becomes an adult, he becomes a grown-up, but he maintains his 12-year-old personality.
And Zachary Levi just does a fantastic job at portraying that.
Yeah. So Dee, that's why Black Adam is all filled with the traditional Shazam lore, because he was the first champion of Shazam. Now, that scene at the end with Superman was supposed to be Shazam. But Dwayne Johnson put his foot down and said, no, there's only one champion of Shazam. It's me, Black Adam, and Shazam will not be appearing in my movie. Captain Marvel, Zachary Levi.
That's kind of egotistical of The Rock, isn't it?
It's a big controversy. And so he insisted that Henry Cavill be brought back to do the cameo of Superman to set up a future rivalry between Black Adam and Superman. But it's supposed to be a rivalry between Black Adam and Shazam. Black Adam and Captain Marvel. But neither one will ever happen, because Henry Cavill is out as Superman, and Dwayne Johnson is out as Black Adam.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He was so demanding. The movie lost money again. It lost money, which surprises me because The Rock. Hello.
Mm.
I mean, I went to see it to see The Rock.
Yeah, but you know what? I like him in all of his movies, not all of them, but majority of his movies. But when I found out that he was a superhero character, I was like, really, man? Really? Come on, dude.
The Rock was born to play a superhero.
I don't know. I didn't like it. I like the movie, but I never went to saw it. I never went to see it just because of the concept of like, you're not, I don't know. I just.
Dee Barty co-hosts a show that talks about superhero cartoons and movies, and she does not like to go see superhero movies.
I do. No, I do. I just didn't want to see The Rock as a superhero or a villain or whatever. Like, I don't know why it bothered me. Like, I'm a fan of his, and I love him in majority of things that he does, but don't cross over. No. You stay over here in this genre. You are not a superhero. No. I don't know. I don't know. Something in my brain just went.
He's kind of built for being a superhero, though.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He didn't have to bulk up for the role at all. He was already.
You know what? He pretty much plays the superhero in all of his movies.
That's
anyway.
right. That's right.
So I'm like, don't cross over into that. What?
They have therapy programs for this problem. Anyway, the Wizard Shazam is replaced by the 7 elders, the gods who grant their powers to Billy Batson, Captain Marvel. All right. And I already mentioned this. There were 2 different Captain Marvels. The first 2 seasons, Captain Marvel was played by Jackson Bostwick. And in the third, actually, it was the middle of the second season, like mid-season, he was replaced by John Davey and all of season 3. Now, Willow, what did you think about this? That every episode had a different moral?
That makes sense for the period it was filmed in. I think, wasn't it like the 70s that started doing that moral thing?
Well, it was this show. It was specifically this show. At the end of every episode, Captain Marvel would spend just a few seconds giving a helpful lesson to the children, and it became called moral tags in Hollywood. And this is funny. The first season's moral tags were all filmed in a single day at the Franklin Canyon Reservoir in Bel Air. And this tradition would be carried on with a lot of different shows, but in particular, the G.I. Joe cartoon.
G.I. Joe, yeah.
That did these helpful tips for children. And, it was...
Inspector Gadget also did it.
Oh, did they? Well, you remember G.I. Joe was, and knowing is half the battle.
Yep.
It all came from Jackson, and Jackson Bostwick himself is the one who insisted that every show have that. He came up with that idea. He said this is important for kids to have, not just indulge in the cotton candy fantasy of the TV show, but to have something meaningful and useful come out of it.
Oh. Adam West actually has there's a video on YouTube somewhere about with Adam West teaching kids in his Batman outfit how to cross the street properly, and I absolutely love that. But it was filmed in Britain as opposed to the States. I don't know why, but I guess it was cheap to purchase the character in Britain to do this little spot. But yeah, I'll send that to you later. And I thought that was just amusing. But you think that would have been something that they would do in the 66 Batman as well. But
well, Adam West would appear as Batman or in the Batman costume for years after, and that show ran to 68, 69. He would appear as in the Batman costume at live events for years, all the way up into the 80s. And so that doesn't surprise me that he continued to do those kind of, well, in the 70s, he appeared as Batman officially on TV again in two different shows called Challenge of the Superheroes and then Legends of the Superheroes. They were really bad. Really, really bad.
But really, I enjoyed the 70s Shazam. Yes, the acting is kind of cheesy, but I think I don't know. Sometimes you kind of need that cheesy acting. And
well, I made it really easy for you guys because I sent you a video link to just the very best parts. in 13 minutes, the very best parts of the Shazam TV show. And that was the best way to really get a grasp of the live action Shazam. Now, this was not the first live action Shazam, by the way. What, D?
We're looking at the comments.
All right, stay together. It's more fun when we stay together. Let's see what we got here.
The very last ones.
Okay, Chris Goins says, I loved the show when I was a kid in the 70s. Two guys traveling around in a Winnebago, picking up hitchhikers and such and helping them out. Now at 52, I think they might have been serial killers. Yeah. Yeah, if you pitched that show to Hollywood execs today, it would have a very different outcome.
An old man traveling around with a little boy. Yeah.
Well, but here's the thing. Billy Batson was supposed to be a little kid. He was supposed to be 12 or 13 years old, but the actor Michael Gray, who played Billy Batson, was 25 years old when he was playing a high school senior.
Huh.
Or no, that was Tom Holland, who was 25 years old playing a high school senior. But Billy Batson, Michael Gray, was in his 20s. Okay, he was 24 at the time of filming and 26 by the time the series went off the air. Really, he should have never transformed into anybody different at all. And in Shazam! Fury of the Gods, Mary you'll notice is the same actress before she becomes, Shazamified, and the same actress after. Everybody else is different because they grow up, they become older, but not Mary because she's already an adult at 18. But yeah, that was a big appeal for me as a kid. That a little kid could speak a magic word and become the mightiest mortal on earth. That to me always made Shazam my favorite. I always love that. He's always been my favorite. And all right, so Rich Asplin did clarify that Top Gun is on Prime now. And I like this. Rich Asplin also adds that critics, talking about critic scores, are thinking about it cinematically and academically. And I go to watch things because holy crap, did you see that? I will say this about Shazam Fury of the Gods.
I don't
It
think
is
that's
maybe
crap.
no. It was holy crap. Did you see that? So cuz here's the thing about this movie, it had the single best special effects I've ever seen in any movie. There was a moment, Willow, where I had to remind myself, wait a minute, dragons aren't real. That's not really there. That's CGI generated. But it was so good, I was totally immersed. And that's never happened to me in a movie before.
That's cool.
They did a really good job on the computer generated portion of the film, yeah.
So, Cade at Cartoon Commotion says, the mentor, hey, RV guy. That's what I'll call him, the RV guy. Yeah. He's the guy who drove the Winnebago, and he's the one who said, Billy, I think you need to speak the magic word because somebody needs your help. And he never fought supervillains. It was always, helping someone who had like a flat tire or something like that, or thwarting a robbery. No supervillains. And Andrew Milden says, I did not know that it spelled out Shazam, just like D. Wow. And
Andrew,
it's okay. I had that moment in what was it, the Avengers, where the guy from S.H.I.E.L.D. was coming after them, and he said the whole word, and then it over my head.
Oh yeah, the Strategic Homeland International Espionage Legal Division.
Comic book fans since the early 90s, and I can't figure out S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. And Dave Mattingly says the RV guy is the wisdom of Solo Man. And Cade likes how I call Shazam a live action cartoon. Love how you phrase that, Johnny. Well, that's what it was. It was a live action cartoon in the same vein as the Banana Splits, the Sid and Marty Krofft shows, Land of the Lost. Those were live action cartoons. A cartoon isn't always animated. Most commonly, but not always. And speaking about merchandise liquidators, Liquidator is also the name of a character in the show Inhumanoids. Every time you say it, I'm thinking about that cartoon, Liquidator. So anyway, that catches up. Oh, that's funny. So Chris Goyne says the Winnebago, two guys traveling around, thinks they might have been serial killers. And Andrew Milden says cereal killers, as in Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Puffs, cereal. And Andrew Milden says, keep Tom Holland out of this. He's a national treasure, that nation being England. That's funny. And Rich Asplin says, it was wholly insert your favorite expletive. And I love this. And this kind of goes back to why I loved Captain Marvel so much. He has a heart because he's a boy at heart. This is Cade saying this with Cartoon Commotion. A hero with the heart of gold. This is what makes his character so special to me, and me too, Cade. Something that these shows and tunes captured well. Yes.